Gun violence in Philadelphia has escalated to numbers not seen in more than a decade. The NBC10 investigators looked at how often the shootings are solved.
They found police having a hard time making arrests and getting criminals off our streets. NBC10 investigative reporter Claudia Vargas takes a look at why authorities
Mohammed Sisi's family is still grieving his death, a life cut short at 18. Mohammed was a talented cellist, a devoted son and brother. As looters and protesters took to the streets this spring in West Philadelphia, Mohammed was at home. His mother asked him not to go outside that night.
You were scared?
I was scared. I said, don't go outside today.
Around midnight on June 1st, amid the chaos, Mohammed and two friends left the house on North Hobart Street. They only made it to the big tree on the corner before police say people inside a dark-colored car opened fire on the boys. Mohammed was hit, collapsing by the tree. He was rushed to the hospital where he later died.
They told you that your son had died?
His 17-year-old friend was also shot but survived. Police have not yet found the shooters.
And every shooting.
Deputy Commissioner Ben Nash is overseeing the investigation. He says the motive for Mohammed's killing is unclear.
It looks like he was a true victim of happenstance. He has nothing in his record to indicate that there should be anybody that's looking to take his life.
Mohammed's case is one of more than 230 gun homicides this year that, as of October, remain unsolved. Arrests have been made in 83. And in cases where the shooting victim has survived, police are having even fewer successes in solving those. Only 16% of those cases have been solved. Nash says police are overwhelmed with the surge in shootings. He blames COVID-19 and the summer civil unrest for the increase in gun violence.
I think it's fair to say that there became a sense of lawlessness.
But even before this year, police weren't having much luck closing cases. Since 2016, shooters are caught in one of every 4 incidents. Nash tells us sometimes shooting victims who survive know who shot them, but won't tell police. Other times, eyewitnesses are reluctant to speak.
If we don't have video to show exactly what happened and how it happened, we are having a hard time in clearing that.
Nash says if every household and business had a security camera, police would do a better job at solving crimes.
So you're asking community members to cooperate, obviously, perhaps put cameras, but what is the police department doing to increase the clearance rates?
Well, we're working by putting detectives in identifying the areas. First off, we're identifying the areas with our patrol to try and stop the shootings from happening.
He tells us detectives are working longer hours and more police officers are assigned to hotspots.
I'm curious of the ratio, like how many shootings do we have so far this year?
We're over 1,600.
Over 1,600?
shot.
And how many cops do we have working on those?
I'm just not able to get into the specifics.
While police won't say how many detectives it has investigating non-fatal shootings, it did confirm 98 officers are working on homicides.
In an ideal world, Nash says he would have more investigators, but former criminals say even if you put more cops on the street, that's not going to get rid of the mistrust some people have in police.
I'm a person that was once part of the problem.
Dawood Bey is a former drug dealer who is now an anti-violence activist. Bey says it's hard to get people to cooperate with police. The no snitch mentality has been around for decades.
It's about us changing or demystifying the codes of the streets, because the streets is lying to our kids too much and telling them certain things that's cool, that's really not cool.
He says breaking that code requires reforming the police, including having more black police officers and more youth programs.
Well, we're going to ask the governor and the mayor to classify gun violence as a public health emergency, like a pandemic. We have to treat it like it's a disease.
But in the meantime, there are thousands of families still waiting for a resolution to their loved ones' shooting, including Manan Sisi. An arrest in her son's murder would mean that another family might be spared from the pain she experienced. For the investigators, I'm Claudia Vargas, NBC10 News. Count on it.